Brandon.
And I'm Brandon.
And I'm Kamron from Sutro Sidetalk.
Yeah, you just had to toss that plug in right away, didn't you?
Yes.
Brandon
well,
always
guys,
trying to stop him from getting the plug.
I know.
Meanwhile, the man's like, Apollo is in every single Sidewatch beginning and got a still beginning.
Plastered everywhere. Just marqueed. Guys, welcome back. Hello, and welcome to the road to 100. As we approach 100 episodes of Apollo City Comics, and also our 3rd year anniversary. Man.
What episode is this then?
I don't know. This is maybe 92 or something. I don't remember off the top of my head.
the road to 100. I don't know where we're at.
We're lost on the road. Where are we? Can you ask for directions? The GPS doesn't work.
Early 90s. That's where we're at right now. Well, guys, so we haven't done this in a while, and we thought it'd be fun to kind of bring it back today. Another over-under episode. But we're going to talk about characters this time and not creators. We're going to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time we just kind of sat and talked about, like, characters.
Yes. Yeah, right. Like, genuinely just, like, talked about, I mean, and some of these, you know, we haven't read in a while, so it's going to be a test on our knowledge. And either we're going to lose all our audience, or we're going to, you know, make new friends and realize how much we care about these characters. So
I got some hot takes, I think, but we'll see.
Well, there's so many characters out there. It's kind of, you know, just like creators, it's hard to choose, you know, which ones we're going to talk about on this episode. So each of us came up with 5 characters, kind of at a random, nice little draw, the top of the memory, top of the head, just picked. And we're going to use a spinner wheel and choose 5 characters today. I'm pretty hyped. I'm curious to what will all, maybe some minds will be changed. Maybe some hatred shall be formed. But boys, let's find out who the first one is. I got this nice little spinny wheel. I don't know if it'll pop up on the track, but we'll find out. You know what? I'll even put... give me one moment, gentlemen. Let's get this ready here. And 3, 2, 1.
Oh, boy.
Spinning the wheel.
Oh, boy.
Look at it go.
Look at that.
Ooh.
Where will it land?
Like
we don't really know.
1 frame per second.
Dead Man.
Heyo! That was my pick.
Well, guys, Dead Man. Okay. Let's. You know what? How much do you guys know, or what's your favorite Dead Man story? Should I say?
It's hard to say. I'm gonna be honest. He's in a lot of shit.
Yeah,
like, he is. He is very much everywhere.
I've read some Dead Man stuff in some Brightest Day and some Blackest Night. He's in Blackest Night,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
He's in Justice League Dark.
Yes.
And that's about it. That's the extent of it, really. Mostly some Green Lantern stuff around that time.
And we're sticking to just comics, right?
No, I mean...
You could throw it in whatever,
all
a TV
mediums.
show, you know.
Okay, because he's also in Justice League as well.
And Brave and
in
the
one of the
Bold.
episodes.
Brave and the Bold.
Yeah.
Much more in Brave and the Bold
He
than
is
Justice
fun
League.
in Brave and the Bold.
He makes
Yes.
Batman kill somebody.
He's also in those on the DC Universe app back when it used to show movies and TV shows exclusive to it. They had those little shorts that were like 2-minute episodes, and they had Dead Man ones, and they were like super adorable. It was just like him just kind of doing mischievous things.
Yeah, he's a fun character. I think my two favorite interpretations, well, 3. Okay, I'll name them 3. Brave and the Bold. I love that interpretation of Dead Man. I also loved his Kelly Jones artwork when Kelly Jones did that little mini run, and I think that's where he really got more attention. And then also in Kingdom Come, his like little moment there. I think that's one of my favorites because Alex Ross draws him phenomenally. It's super creepy. It's awesome. I think that's where I really know him from those 3. I don't really have anything opposed to Dead Man. I don't ever think we get enough of him though. You know what I mean? Like I like, he's in everything. Kamron's absolutely right. Like, he's in so much. I think every single series almost he has an appearance, right?
He's
practically. I mean,
yeah, because at this point, it's like anytime they do something magic, they go, "We're gonna do some original magic thing. Look, it's Dead Man," and it's like, again.
Yeah. It's kind of. I
Him
feel
and
like
Constantine specifically, and at a certain point, Zatanna too.
that little.
They're like very much just always there. to the point where you think there's going to be new Magic characters and there never are. So you just kind of get tired.
I could see that. I could see where you're coming from there, because it's never really show. It's always Dr. Fate and those like three along with him, and sometimes the Phantom Stranger. You know what I mean? Like every so while you get lucky and get him in. I think his stuff with Neil Adams is really what got him the most attention, if I'm not wrong. His first appearance was like what, Strange Adventures? Strange Adventures 205, October 1967. He's created by Arnold Drake and Carmine Infantino. But his most, stuff that he's known for is Justice League Dark, Seven Soldiers of Victory, Sentinels of Magic. Okay, that's Day of Judgment. I don't remember when that was. That's
Days of Judgment, the Infinite Crisis tie-in.
I think it is.
That's where Shadow Pack comes out of. So that was like, that's what that's what excited me, because it's like, oh, here's the non like mainline Magic heroes, and they have their own team now, which is why it was so interesting.
Yeah, that's fucking cool. Actually, it's super rad. He's I don't know. I guess because he's not popular enough. I don't feel like
the average person won't know who that is.
He was one of my picks for underrated.
Yeah, I would definitely go with underrated. Just because I feel like also when they put him into stuff, it's like, oh, we kind of need to find a filler episode to just take up some time. Toss in a dead man story. And Batman's dead. Give him.
He's never like the main character. He's always kind of like the side character and kind of the guy they call when they need someone to be possessed, basically. And that's kind of it. That's all he's like.
I guess.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have his own like book where, at least like a mini series. Besides that, there was a 3-issue, was it a Black Label book or something? The Haunted House one that he was in recently. It was like one of the.
You're right. It was one of the first ones, right? One of the. First
he had his own. He had his own one, and it was like the big book, I want to say too. So he had a massive format book for 3 months. And it was like no other heroes in it, I don't think. It was like all like his story with some woman in the house or something like that. But you could see like if they did like a 6-issue or something where it's actually just him, and it's more like how he has to deal with being what he is all the time. That would be interesting.
That would be really fun. I haven't read the Kelly Jones one. I've seen the artwork, and which is why I love it. But like maybe that could be about it. Neil Adams, not like super recently, but like a few years ago, did a Dead Man series. And it
was really random to me, honestly.
What?
Neil Adams was doing a Dead Man series like out of nowhere in 2000, I don't know, 15.
15, 16, something like that. It did have a cool variant cover, because one of them was like glow in the dark, so you saw a dead man like kind of skeletal.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
But I didn't read it though, unfortunately. But it's one of those things. I think I'm drawn to him, how his appearance, because I just haven't really taken the time to read his series, because I don't feel like there's been like one Dead Man series that people rave about, because it's such a deep and amazing like story. I guess it probably is something a modern creator could explore a bit more and really blow them up. Like I would love, like on the level of what Tom King does of characters, I would love to see that happen to Dead Man, like where he gets like Adam Strange, and now he's a bigger character, and because Tom King's writing a good story about him, stuff like that. You know what I mean? I would love that kind of thing to come out with that, like what you said, a deep storyline that kind of goes into like, I guess, like having to deal with what he does.
Yeah, that could be interesting for sure. Yeah. Just don't have Tom King doing like 3 of these at once, because like
we all know what's gonna happen.
So Tom Kinged out right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise I would say in terms of the love the character is actually shown, underrated. Appearance wise, highly overrated.
I agree.
Yeah, he's just kind of guest star. You know what he is? He's like the Hawkman of like the modern day of comics.
Oh, I could see that.
He's currently actually also in the Batman animated series comic, Batman Adventures Continue Season 2. Really? It has him in the Court of Owls, yeah.
Oh, nice. But that's the thing. He's always just featured.
Yeah. And then it's always like what we were saying, the same thing whenever we do see him. He's just going to take over someone, and then they're going to be like, what's wrong with this guy? Yeah, crack a few jokes, and they either realize that it's Dead Man right away, or they're just like, why are you acting like that? And it's like every single appearance is pretty much just that. they got to crack that character. That's what they got to do. So I agree. Overrated in appearance because he's not always necessary. He just feels like filler. But underrated because he could be amazing. He has potential. Definitely. Well, let's see. Let's spin the wheel one more time.
I can't get over this. Like 1 frame per second. This wheel. Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
Oh my!
All right, so this is going to be interesting. I think we all have very different opinions about Miss Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably.
Who first?
Well, I added her in for that one.
Oh, then you first.
Overrated for sure. Like her characters had very big changes from like pre-Flashpoint to post-Flash to like New 52 and stuff to where she became her own solo character. And like at first it's like, oh, that's really cool, but then eventually you're starting to see her become a Deadpool clone, and it got really weird and like breaking fourth wall and everything else, and pretty soon she became the fourth most important DC character in terms of like their content output. Like when you see posters, it's like it used to be like, oh, it's the Justice League. Now it's like, oh, it's the Trinity. Hey, look, Harley Quinn's right next to him, and you're like,
basically.
What the fuck?
That's probably the most accurate description, honestly. It's like,
yeah,
you get every major DC character, and then she's like right there off to the side.
to the point where, you know how they had Batman Black and White, and now they're like everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
And for DC, it's like Wonder Woman, Superman, and now Harley Quinn. And those are the four for DC.
I think Harley Quinn's actually black, white, and red.
Yeah. So it's like each one has a just insane one now, and she's just all over the place. And, you know, I love it when someone does her character right. Like, I really do enjoy her in books.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just like when you're seeing her everywhere, like it was already bad enough that you're getting an oversaturation of Batman, but now you're just like, it's not gonna end. And now it's just it's Harley Quinn. But yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we all have the same opinion about Harley Quinn. Never mind.
Well, I don't know. Mine might be a little different. I mean, I am leaning towards like overrated. But to be fair, I've also been reading almost every Harley Quinn book since 2013.
That is true. Since New 52, right?
Yeah, since when she got that issue 0 with Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner with all the guest artists.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I kind of jumped on and started reading it, and it's an interesting book because it's, you know, I don't disagree with you, Kamron, when you're saying that she's becoming like the DC Deadpool, because in every sense of the character Deadpool, it's kind of what she's doing. She's very meta, over the top, you know, all the crazy jokes, even like the way like they portray food, you know, like Deadpool's always eating like chimichangas and shit, and Harley Quinn's always eating like, I don't know, French fries and hot dogs, you know, like.
Well, like in the Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. All right, that's already oversaturation right there. It should just been Birds of Prey, whatever.
The
but
movie.
yeah, the whole sandwich thing. Yeah, you know what I mean. And that annoyed me.
Sandwich did look good at least. I just wanted to eat food. That was just me.
To kind of like dance around on the other side of the opinion though, like I will say this: the character has come a long way, and I think it's, you know, from where she started in the animated series, it's like horrible how she was treated.
Oh yeah,
like genuinely horrible. And you know, she was like pretty much like abused that whole series, and that's all you knew Harley Quinn as, was like Joker's girlfriend that got abused, right? Like I can't think of an episode she wasn't, even by Batman, you know, like every person in that series pretty much treated her like shit.
Even when she like wins and like does great and like kicks ass, at the very end of it, she's always getting smacked back down. You know?
Yeah. You think there's gonna be progress, and then the next episode she's back to where it began, and you're just like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
oh,
Harley
okay,
Quinn's character was, for like every step forward, it was like 3 steps back. You know, like
yeah.
So when you take that into context, and then you look at like, you know, I don't know, the Arkham game series, it starts to change a little, and then when you get to her solo series, she's actually like a fully fleshed character, like fleshed out, and she even makes a joke about it in one issue where she gets mad at Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner in the issue because she talks about how she has continuity now and backstory and supporting cast of characters and all that, and they kind of like revolutionized her, and it shows that the character's come a long way. She's no longer the villain's girlfriend. She's like I guess almost like a superhero now. She's pretty much a good guy.
Yeah, at this point.
There's certain, her, I guess you could say the way she goes about things isn't the most morally correct way, but she's transformed into like this big character, and even though the character's fictional, she went from this like abused side character to like this booming, huge, like turnaround.
Yeah.
And I think I think for the character's progression, that's great. Like she's, basically idolized, and she's no longer looked at as, what she used to be. So I think when you think of that, it makes sense why she's, in the spotlight, but a little overrated because I'm not going to lie, she's kind of thrown into things just to be there, just to sell a product, And I think that's where it's like they're not finding the right balance, if that makes sense. Where you want this character to prosper and grow and be this new, being that she is, but they're kind of overselling it.
It's for me, I always enjoy her in stuff where she's not necessarily in her own title. Like, in her own title, it's like a weird cartoon mess that I just don't want to take part in. Whereas, like, if she's in Suicide Squad, it feels like there's a more serious take on her. Like, you're still getting that character, but it's not like wacky go, like, cartoon. It's more like, oh, okay, cool. It's just a more serious take that, like, she's doing all this stuff. Like, right now, I know she's in Batman, James Tynian's run. And in that, it's very down to earth. It makes sense. I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. And meantime, I look at like the cover for the newest like Harley Quinn issue, and I'm like, I'm just gonna stick to this one. I'm good. I don't need more than just this one thing.
I totally agree with that. Like, I think she is overrated in the sense of like her saturation right now, and I think people like kind of idolize her without realizing, what they're idolizing either. You know what I mean? Like
they just kind of see the girl in the cartoon and they're like, wow, yeah,
exactly. Like they like her outfit and whatnot, and I think that's a big miss. Like I don't think there's enough readership that's actually embracing Harley Quinn for how big she is. You know what I mean? Like if the readership level and understanding of the character versus how much she's in things, I think is just so off that there's a big disconnect of not understanding the character. Like with Batman, you've seen enough Batman to kind of get the general idea, and definitely, if we spin on it, it might so saturate in that sense. But like Harley, like her live action portrayals, I don't know. Margot Robbie is like a hit or miss in certain moments. I feel
it's the way they write her. That's why it comes down to.
It comes down to the writing. Suicide Squad, the recent one, I adored it. The one before it was like,
that's just cringy.
Cool. Yeah, it was cool because like, it was the first time we got to see her live action, but very like there was moments that were cringy and just didn't make sense and just annoying,
But then, sorry, it's also then you look at the animated series and it's like the best depiction of Harley Quinn.
And then also like with her solo animated series, fucking the best DC show that's come out.
Practically, yes, yeah.
It's really hilarious.
But it seems to be like, okay, well, look at she's with a team. Suicide Squad, her TV show. Like when she's mixed in with people, or like like you said, Tinian's Batman run. I really like her in that. Like every single issue that she's in, I love.
Yeah, there's purpose.
Yeah, and that's why purpose. And I guess they're just like, okay, well, you could listen to me rant about this in the new Cut of Steel that's coming down in Suicide Squad. But like the Harley Quinn storyline in Suicide Squad, I thought was just kind of stuffed in there. Like it didn't seem essential to the story at all whatsoever. But I've only seen it once, so I haven't really like deep dive analyzed it. But I mean, I just thought it was just not needed, and that's the oversaturation aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, I will agree that she's getting a little overrated just because they put her in everything. But again, I think it's important to note that she's come a long way and that she's transformed as a character, and she's like empowered now.
Yeah, and it's rare that they do that with women characters, and like as much as they've done with her, like really just change them and transform them and made them like kind of something look up to. Like if you've gone through certain stuff and, life gets tough and life isn't, the way the movies always are, but she's been through shit and she's come out of it and she's come out stronger than ever. And that just needs to be shown more, because she's capable, and that's a good message. We only see guys do that sometimes. And I mean, it's good to have a female character, actually portrayed like that.
It'll be interesting if they actually do that more than just her instead of just doubling down on her at the same time.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Because currently, that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's totally agree with that. So overall, what's your final overrated, underrated?
Overrated on film. I don't know. Maybe.
Overrated.
No, not in film. I don't know. I want to say overrated, but here I am reading like everything. So
I'm gonna go with overrated because it's just like the main point is that it's just too much and it's just missing the mark sometimes.
Yeah, they keep throwing.
Too forced.
They keep like trying to hit the target. They just keep throwing without really like aiming.
Also that's all they focus on with her. Like they don't really add any other element than her being heartbroken and hurt by men. Like even in New Suicide Squad, she's just upset and she shoots the guy because she's been heartbroken and she's been hurt and she can't do this again. Like you can add more to a character than just that for her being as big as she is. Yeah, I think that's I'm on the overrated part. So let's spin the wheel. All right, guys, let me open this up so you can make sure I'm not cheating here. And
oh no, Spawn!
Oh boy.
Watch it actually be Spawn. I'll be like, fuck.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious, actually. Oh, ooh,
Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond.
Damn.
Oh man,
that's an easy one.
Under fucking rated, dude.
Underrated as all hell.
Underrated as
easily.
Yes, like.
How is it we're in a world where there's not a game, a movie, and all of this stuff? Like, I still don't understand how this hasn't happened yet.
Bill has been able to perfect the Rocky boots. Sit here and tell me I'm wrong.
I really don't understand how he's just like as good of a character as he is. He came out in 1999. Okay, so he's really not that old. He's 22 now. 22 years. And just we had 3 seasons. He's appeared in Justice League cartoon. I don't know. Has he ever had another appearance?
No. It was just his own series, the epilogue of Justice League plus the time travel one.
Yeah.
Where so really like 2 episodes of JLU. And then his comics where, when the cartoons were out, they had the companion comics. Mm-hmm. And then eventually they started doing those digital firsts way before the current digital style. But it was like all these different Batman Beyond ones that actually continued where the show left off. And it was actually really cool. But over time, I think, what was it? They did, what was that weird event called? It had like Frankenstein in it. And it was like the future stuff with... No.
Future's End.
Future's End. Yeah, he was in that apparently, and they like killed him, and then they made Tim Drake the Batman Beyond. I think after.
Yeah. That was weird. Jeff Lemire helped write that.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I still actually have to tackle. I was gonna check out the Infinite app and finally read that event and everything out of it, but
I know. Wait, you know what the best issue of that entire series is?
What?
Hands down, best fucking issue in the entire. How many issues is it? 80 in total, I think. It's on my eBay listing, because you guys go buy it. Issue number 0. Best issue in the entire series. Amazing.
The Future's End?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the very first teaser issue.
So there's 2 versions of them in the comics. There's basically that continuation from the show, and then there is that Future's End version that they continued after the event. Like that was like the main thing that spun out of it. It was just like that's how they continued his comics until I think they canceled it eventually. But
and then Terry's back in the suit in the current comics, right?
Yeah, and they finally brought him back, and they're like he's not dead anymore. But I think they ended the series since then. I forget how many. It's probably been a year or so, if not longer. Yeah. Because there was 1 volume for Rebirth, and then after that, I think they ended it, I want to say. But otherwise, he's not in, I don't think, anything else at all whatsoever.
He had his own series by Dan Jurgens for a while.
Yeah, I think that was the current one, the most recent one.
Yeah, so that's still coming out of Future's End, I'm pretty sure.
No, that's the Terry one where he's back in the suit.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, they still, in Future's End, they kill him, and they make Tim Drake Batman. Eventually, they bring Terry back in that timeline.
Oh, I didn't even
So he's still, that run is still from the Future's End timeline.
I see what you mean.
As it continues.
Okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. I was still thinking, like, Tim Drake.
I feel like, yeah, I want to say he is underrated, but, like, I don't know. I feel like when it comes to the animated show, it's a little, like, overrated because nostalgia for a lot of people.
Really?
But
that show's fucking dope. I just rewatched it recently. I think that show's amazing. Well, I mean, consider
it's still good. Don't get me wrong.
It was one of the most original things that came out at the time.
Yeah,
Honestly.
no, it's one of the most original things to come out of the animated part of like DC Comics.
But also, it's like, dude, that Ra's al Ghul episode. Oh man,
dude, that was
dude, the Return of the Joker movie.
Phenomenal.
That was dark as fuck.
That was crazy. Seeing that as a kid, I was like, "Holy shit, this is mind blowing."
That right there was the ending of just showing like, "Hey, Harley's still with him at the end of it," and you're just like, "What the?" There was no still no evolution by the end of it.
I love seeing like I don't know. I feel like it's completely underrated. Like in every aspect. I don't think they've. I don't know. They've done a lot with the comics. Where even Damian Wayne's teamed up with him, and there's all sorts of stuff going on. And he has his own like rogue of like entire line of villains. His rogues gallery is just so cool, and it's very like unique in a sense too, where you could kind of tell where some inspirations came from, but overall, super just completely different. Blight, like holy fuck, that's so cool.
Shriek,
Ink. Yeah, Ink was.
Yeah,
I remember that episode.
There's like a hunter guy. There was all these different crazy characters that were just insane, and there was that dude that always tried to blow stuff up who was like, "Hey man, the Illuminati."
Dude, that was Henry Rollins who voiced
it really?
too. Yeah, that's Henry Rollins, man. I love that dude. Oh my gosh, so cool. And it's really because like when you look at that animated series universe and put it in that futuristic timeline, like it seems it's cringy for sure. You know, the dance sequences are ridiculous.
Oh, the music is kind of over top. Yeah.
But
I thought it was pretty shui. I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, they gave us new lingo. Like that's how much that show did. But I could totally see it fitting in that universe. Like, you know, the style fits that world, and no matter how cringy it is, it's so well put together. Like it's so believable, and it's just, you know, seeing old man Bruce Wayne, Ace the Bat Hound finally getting introduced, like in that type of universe. I don't know. They haven't tapped into it more. Why don't we have another? We got Batman the anime series, and then we had Beware the Batman and Brave and the Bold, and like he's in Justice League action.
The Batman.
And the Batman.
Yeah.
And, you know, but why isn't there like one more? I don't know. Maybe Bruce Timm doesn't want people touching it either. He always says he'd love to go back to it once they find a story. But I don't know. I just think there needs to be. Why isn't there an animated movie Batman Beyond? You know?
Yeah, it's not. I'm not necessarily looking for another series. It's more like actually
just give us
specifically
something.
movies and games.
I'd be down.
Honestly.
I'd be down with an animated film, like original one. And if you bring back the dude from Boy Meets World to voice him,
yeah, he would totally do it. I bet. Like,
yeah.
He killed it as that character,
dude. Yes, as Terry McGinnis, as like, you know, I mean, we were like probably elementary school, maybe middle school when that came out, but like when you're growing up and you're still rewatching that show, like all that stuff gets relatable to a certain extent, and it's cool seeing that Peter Parker-esque Batman, you know, but kind of like just a different take and spin on it, you know, that young teenage high school routine going. It's so fucking cool.
It's like if Peter wasn't a loser.
Yeah, like, you know how, like, I don't know, for me, like, I always like admired Nightwing, and I thought he was the coolest dude when I was growing up. You know what I mean? Like, Nightwing was a shit, but then Batman Beyond came out, and you're just like, how do you? That suit is so sick. That new bat symbol, the red like boosters, he could turn invisible. So why isn't there a Black Label book? Why isn't there a head right? I don't know. Nothing against Dan Jurgens, he's a legend for sure, but he just doesn't they need something to capture a modern audience, because I feel like Dan Jurgens falls in that realm of like early 90s like fans, late 80s. but that was kind of like before our time. Like I feel like someone new needs to take that on and give it.
So like kind of like Vita Ayala is doing Static.
Yeah, there you
like
go.
that. No, for sure. I understand that then.
Yeah, like it just we need someone to really refresh it, and just do something crazy. Like just do something insane. Like just go. But maybe if there's a Batman Beyond storyline that's like this that I'm describing, and I haven't read it, just like please tell me. Like don't talk shit. Just like tell me, and I'll read it, and I'll tell you my judgment.
Yeah. I think also with Terry and stuff, like I guess because they had more of an endpoint with it, it feels so like high quality compared to like a lot of the other heroes. It's never ending. Whereas it's like there was a full on beginning and end for him practically, but there was still room for so much more. Considering like when you think the show's over and you're like, oh okay, but you see all the stuff in the comics and you're like, this totally could have been the show easily. So it's like there is always room for more for him.
But like we just said too, he is a young character. I mean, Venom barely got his like backstory taken care of like
30
in
years
the last
in.
30 years in. You know what I mean? So I feel like as technology progresses, we'll be able to do more with Batman Beyond because we could actually get that super high tech futuristic vibe that they really would like to nail. But that's just me being optimistic. You know what I mean? Like
No, for sure.
Are we all agreed he's underrated?
Yeah, he is underrated.
Yes, easily.
He's one of those characters people like love, which is fine, but have no idea of anything else. They're like, yeah, Batman Beyond. He just
yeah, and I hate that some people just know like the Arkham skin version of Batman Beyond because it's not. Like,
yeah, but I'm as long as he gets appreciation, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like any
that skin was always weird. He was that skin was way too buff for
right.
I was like, that's not Batman Beyond. That doesn't count. I don't like it.
How many are we doing this episode? Are we doing 5? You said
5 or 6.
Okay.
Because then it's like 2 of our picks each potentially.
Oh no, I saw. No, I'm not gonna spoil.
Ooh, Donna Troy.
Donna Troy. I got nothing. I don't think I've really read anything with her.
Really?
Let me see.
Because you've never really been a Titans guy, have you?
Right? Nah, I never got into Titans. Like, Teen Titans were kind of meh. I never got as far as the. Nothing wrong with the characters. I don't do team books.
No, for sure.
I'm gonna definitely say underrated because there was a point where I forgot what I saw or what I read, but it was a Donna Troy story. And I was like, this is such a cool fucking character. And then she was coming back in, I think, New 52. And then I was like, damn, I'm going to start collecting these Wonder Woman issues because it's bringing back Donna Troy. And I'm really interested to learn more about her. And then I just never got a hold of anything else from her stuff.
You didn't miss anything. That was when, I think it was like David Finch and Meredith Finch took over Wonder Woman. And it was just like, oh no. Yeah, the way they did Donna Troy was like, no thanks.
I bet visually that was dope as shit. But I mean... I don't know. I'm not too sure. Because I think I missed an issue, so I didn't even read it. But I even really and I hate this show. Titans, I'm not a fan of, but I did like Donna Troy in Titans.
I stopped to watch. I still don't even know what it's
like. She's in the show. Yeah, she's in the show.
Dude, I haven't gotten past the second episode. I think.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I wanted to keep watching for Crypto. Because they literally put a dog in the show that has laser eyes, and I was like,
I want to try to get myself to, but it's so hard.
I'm gonna try to do it. I just have to go in immediately, blocking certain characters out of my mind immediately. That's how I've kind of perceived what I have to do.
I don't know if I could do it. Once I saw it was too edgy for the sake of.
Hawk and Dove are dope in it, though. I really do like Hawk and Dove in it, and I didn't think I'd ever. But anyway,
you know who plays Hawk, right?
The dude from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah. Wait, who?
He plays young Scully, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
It's
oh
like
my
god.
Yeah, I was looking at it, and then my friend's like, "Oh hey, it's young Scully," and I was like, "Oh my god, it is."
I saw that episode right after I saw season 1 of Titans, and then it was just so hard to see him again, as that character. But hilarious. I don't know, Kamron, this was your pick, Donna Troy.
Yes.
Give us your thoughts, your opinion. She's bitching in Infinite Crisis.
So she, I don't know why, But like, when you look at the like Wonder Woman and her whole like branch of the DC world, for some reason I always gravitated specifically to Donna Troy over Diana. Except for like, with the exception, of course, for the animated series. That's like the only, because you're so used to her there and stuff like that. But otherwise, it always felt interesting because I'm like, wait, what does she do? And I started like kind of looking into all the Titans books and things like that. And she does what Diana doesn't, I would say, and she actually progresses through her life, where she literally gets married with like a normal dude and has a kid.
Oh, wow.
And then they both die in a car crash. And then you're like, oh, fuck. Like, if you look at Blackest Night, it actually gets crazy because her dead husband and baby are like, hey, Donna, we're here. And then they, like, try to kill her. And it's kind of horrifying. But, because, like, you look at all the different characters, and a lot of them go through different things, and hers is specific because it's like, oh, have you ever had to deal with, like, your husband and, like, basically infant child trying to kill you? But through all of her stuff, it's always been interesting because I think the reason I got into her is through Nightwing, because he's probably my favorite comic book character. Like, I still stand by, like, he's the best Batman and all this stuff, but during, like, Justice League and before that, it was, like, him and Donna all the time. So you have Donna Troy and then, like, Dick Batman, and that's kind of where I really got invested. And then from there, kind of started looking back. There was, like, I forget which Titans book I read. It was, like, when they all come back together when they're adults and stuff like that. But she just seems like a more down-to-earth Diana that... Because the whole thing is, like, oh, it's her sister. And it's like, what's the difference between them? And the average person's just like, I don't know, she's younger, that's it. I can't tell you. Because even, like, when you look at the classic version, Wonder Girl... It's like the same exact outfit, whereas you look at Robin, Speedy, Aqualad, their like outfits are completely different, even Kid Flash. But for her, it just looks exactly the same practically. Like they didn't even try when they created her, it felt like. But she definitely just keeps changing. Like she changes the Troya, her outfits are completely different each time. And honestly, her outfit's kind of cooler than Wonder Woman's. Like she has a black...
Oh, yeah.
Outfit that looks like it's like a fucking galaxy in there, and you're just like, what is even happening here? And just recently it feels like she hasn't really been utilized. Like New 52, they didn't really do a good job with her until Rebirth, when they were like, oh, the Titans existed. And like they reunite her and Dick and Garth, and it gets really interesting from there for a bit, and then they kind of give up on it again. But I think they're still even trying to do stuff. Like, she's always in the Titans books. Like, I think currently, what is it, Titans Academy, the Red Hood book? Oh. Not Red Hood, Red X. Fucking Teen Titans Red X is in it or something. But, yeah, she just always seems like there's something more to do with her. And recently it's felt weird because all they've been trying to do is, like, make her the love interest for Roy Harper.
Yeah.
And it's like, it feels like she's nothing more than that. And it kind of gets annoying compared to, like, where she came from growing up through, like, the pre-Flashpoint Titans stuff.
Nice.
So, I find her very underrated. And it's like, if I could, I'd be like, yo, give me a Dick Grayson, Donna Troy book where it's just those two. That's my ideal.
The storyline I know her that really got my attention was the Infinite Lives of Donna Troy. It just sounded dope, and I started looking into it, and it was a super cool concept. So I think I'm gonna try to dip back into that at some point on the app or something. And you know what, I don't know if I think there's like no consensus here, but she has to be underrated because she was created in 1965.
Oh my god.
And Brave and the Bold #60. Like how we do get little spurts of her, but not like definitive versions. Nothing like even Deadman, as little as we know about him, we know like the definitive like Deadman thing, and we know like a decent amount of stuff, I could recommend things about it, but she's just a character that's just so under the radar.
I draw a blank because like well, first of all, she's like a Titans character, Teen Titans, so I'm like, I'm completely in the dark with that too, because I don't read anything like that.
No, for sure.
So completely underrated in my book.
Yeah, because like if you look at the Teen Titans cartoon, that kind of took away all the different characters you usually get.
Yeah.
And after that, that was the template. They went, so you put Starfire and Raven and Beast Boy and stuff and everything. And you didn't get, like, before all that, Donna Troy and Dick Grayson are practically siblings. Donna Troy and Starfire, I'm pretty sure they were like maidens of honor at each other's weddings. Like, it's like they were very close, and then they took all that away and changed ages and all this stuff. So it's just, yeah, there's like a whole thing where it's not even close to where she was in like the 70s and 80s and stuff.
I have the Marv Wolfman, George Perez, Volume 1 omnibus of the new Teen Titans. Yeah, check it out. So you can do some more research on her.
For sure. Yeah, underrated for sure. Easily.
100%. Great choice, though. Very. Let's get some new fans out there. All right. Spinning the wheel, spinning the wheel, spinning the wheel.
I think this is the last one.
This is number 4, right?
Is it number 4? Hey, that's one of my picks.
Hey, Wolverine.
I think this is number 5. This is number 5.
What have we done?
We did Dead Man. We did Harley Quinn. We did Batman Beyond. We did Donna Troy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's number 5. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Wolverine. I wanted to say all of X-Men. Well, like, X-Men is not that kind of series. I feel like you don't just casually read. Like, there's hardcore fans out there that will, like, freaking murder you if you say you don't like X-Men. And then there's, like, this following for Cyclops and, like, following for Wolverine. And
I feel like do you have it out for me? You're just describing, I'm like, yeah, X-Men and Cyclops.
I can see what he says. I feel like if you don't know certain X-Men like history and like the storylines, you're just lost.
Yeah,
because it's
I mean?
It's only team practically besides Wolverine. Like, it's so deep. I actually feel like I barely skimmed the surface because I started post Schism, where it's like they were leading up to AVX, and then that was like a fucking shit show practically.
That literally transformed my career. So
yeah, so that was like, what the fuck. After that though, it's been interesting, but Wolverine, like, he does a lot on his own easily, because the man's like not just X-Men, he's also Avengers, and then he has his own shit, and then it's like, is this gonna be him in Japan this time, or is this him drinking, or is this him drinking in Japan? Like, you never know what's gonna happen.
He was also in charge of the Jean Grey School.
Yes,
that's right. Yeah, and I'm a big Wolverine fan. I have a box of Wolverine comics. I buy X-Men comics because, like, I like Wolverine. I dig all the Wolverine movies. I think the games are cool. I think, like, whenever I was a kid and I thought about having a superpower, I'd always just like want like claws to pop out of my hands all the time. I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world. But I will 100% say that, and just to back it up, I will say this is completely overrated because you have so many X-Men characters out there. Wolverine,
and they keep just...
Yeah, he's the pinnacle of it all, when he really doesn't need to be the pinnacle of it all. Get your solo series, all this stuff, like, do your thing. But, like, if you're going to give that much attention to Wolverine, like, why doesn't Cyclops have a solo series? Like, why doesn't, like, Jean Grey and Cyclops have a thing? They've had small mini runs and stuff like that, of course. But, like, no one has a track record like Wolverine at all.
He's second to only, I want to say, Spider-Man when it comes in Marvel. When it comes to, like, you see him in, like, an Avengers book, an X-Men book, his solo book, and probably a third or fourth book at the same time. Yeah. And you're like, so how does this happen?
And it's hard to really keep up with his, like, continuity and his history and, like.
Well, even he doesn't know his history. That's the thing with him. So people can have fun with that. Like, he literally can't remember, like, his past.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a lot of exploring with it too.
He's had stories of, like, growing up in Canada with, like, an abusive father, and then going into World War II and being in the same platoon as, like, Captain America apparently, and like,
I rescued Magneto from a concentration camp.
That
and you're
too,
like, wait,
yeah.
what?
Like,
you're just like,
anybody involved in World War II, he was, like, there, and, like, he apparently can't remember it all.
Yeah, there you go.
So, that's just...
that's a good explanation.
Yeah.
I never thought about it that way, of just because I've always thought it was kind of messy how there's just so much, like, of his, and I've always known his history gets all over the place, but, like, yeah, the fact that he can't remember it all means, like, you don't need to have an accurate, like, continuity with his history.
You just have fun with it. You just go
crazy.
Like,
I think the best was that random X-Men cartoon where he first, he's Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
in some random X-Men cartoon, he had an Australian accent. And he's like, "All right, I'm Wolverine."
Oh my god.
What happened?
You're just like, what's
How
going
did I
on
get
here?
that wrong?
Yeah, I actually Wolverine for me was really introduced with X-Men Evolution. It was like we were at that age where the '80s X-Men cartoon was kind of like already ending, and X-Men Evolution was kind of starting up for us. So that was really the one I got into. And I was like, oh, cool. He's like a father figure to all the other mutants and stuff. And he kind of teaches Scott what to do and everything else. And then I watched the movie and I'm like, why is this dude perving on this younger? What's happening? Why is leave Jean Grey alone, you sick bastard? I didn't get all of it. And I was like, oh, there's this whole history. I get it now. And I had to like read up on it all. But
Nice.
yeah,
It's
Overrated.
I'll say it. You know, as much as I love the character, overrated.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah, one of my favorites. I still buy Wolverine comics. But definitely overrated. Definitely. Like, I feel like other people could share the spotlight. Brian K. Vaughan did a cool little 3 Marvel Knights storyline. But yeah, so yeah, overrated. Let's do our last one. That's everyone got their chance to get at least 2 of their things in. And number 6.
Oh, there
fuck.
you go.
Fuck. Son
It's
of a
such
bitch.
an
This
easy
is like
answer.
apart from Wolverine, it's like a full DC just like, oh my god. All right,
Yeah.
guys, for those that, you can't see what just was picked. Batman. Easily underrated, guys. I can't stress
I don't
this
even know
enough.
why.
The man has no
Even-
powers.
I don't
He has
know
no
why he
powers.
chose Batman. I knew it was gonna be overrated. Like,
Like
It's it's worth like at least like
Yeah,
the quick
I mean-
discussion about it. Batman is an astonishing character. You
there's
know
no
what I mean?
denying it's a
He-
multi-billion-dollar astonishing character.
Yeah. Like he's so good that he is a crutch to DC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's how fucking good Batman is. He is holding that company with all of his like might, that's all him.
I feel like I feel like he's holding comics with all of his might.
Just
In
slap
general,
Batman
like I
logo
think
on there.
you take Batman off and comics just fall in general. It doesn't matter what company; they're just
Bat
all screwed.
Spider-Man.
Just done. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love the character. He's my favorite character.
Well, yeah, it's duh. That's why
Yeah.
we're all here practically.
like we all. It's Batman. Everything animated series, Timber,
Underwear,
everything Batman. Just
Coffee
kind of.
mugs, socks.
It's true.
And storylines, and that's the thing. Like they have great storylines, like phenomenal
Your
storylines.
leading
Like,
character gets the top talent.
yeah. It's, and of course, there's a big chunk of like meh or whatever storylines, but like all around the character is astonishing. Like there's great cartoons, there's great movies, there's great video games. Of course they invest everything into them, and you get.
You ask anyone around the world, hey, do you know Batman?
Yeah,
They're gonna say yes.
Literally, like. But the thing with Batman is like that's what makes him overrated is that he's in everything. He's in toothpaste. Like.
Hell yeah, he's toothpaste.
Yeah, it's true. I've been punched by my toothpaste at least 3 times.
You know what I mean, though. He's in fucking, I don't know, what's the most obscure thing you could probably buy? I guarantee you, ow, I hit my knee because I'm just so worked up.
Batman even hit Brandon's knee right now. 'Cause
Give me
he's
something
talking
really
shit.
random. I'll put Batman on it.
Honestly, I think the only thing that Batman doesn't have a
Probably
coffin.
a toaster.
Batman doesn't have a coffin or condoms, and Kiss has a Kiss coffin and Kiss condoms.
Nope, there's Batman
So-
condoms. Yeah,
Yes!
they're probably unofficial, obviously.
Well, yeah, he always wants to protect people, dude.
There you go.
What's
Yeah.
the next one you said? Coffin?
Coffin.
Nope, there's custom-made coffins. They even have
that's custom.
they even have like the cowl still and like
Choose. I was hoping you were gonna say you choose
this
your
guy.
own.
This guy
choose
made
your
his
own
coffin
like
into a
symbol.
Batmobile.
Oh, that's dope.
I mean, Brandon, it's like when I said I was gonna die, launch me into space in the bat suit.
Like I guarantee you, I could type in like Batman fucking I don't know pot for plants. Yep,
Hell yeah.
it's got his face on it.
You also get a result for Batman weed,
Oh my
probably
God.
at the same time.
I bet.
Yep.
What's this one called?
Hell
Oh, it's
yeah.
called Justice and Vengeance, and I'm the Knight.
Yeah, this is
Batman
was it Hammers
OG
of Justice?
named for the Caped Crusader of the DC universe is a potent indica that hits the body like pow.
That's amazing.
Batman OG has deep earthy notes intermixed with sense of skunk and pine. It combats insomnia, stress, and chronic pain. That's literally like the opposite of everything Batman goes through.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when he beats the shit out of you, you're gonna need that.
Like that's what I mean. He's literally marketed everywhere, officially and unofficially. Like
he's in everything, dude. There's a Community episode where Home Slice is Batman. Like it's I've.
Oh, that's hella true.
I have a Batman right here. You know what I mean? Like it's everywhere.
Honestly, given our chances of creating things, just a good chance we'd be like, yeah, Batman. We gotta get Batman.
I can almost guarantee you. Sorry. There's probably like,
and there's like
99% of things you could buy in this world. There's a Batman logo on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Albertsons and there's Batman.
I have a Batman robe, bro. Like
Yeah, you want me to look that up? I got you. Oh,
no, I have one.
He has one. Yeah,
I have one. Yeah. Yeah, I'll let you see me in it sometime too. No. Don't worry. But I think so we love Batman, but it's just because they rely on him so heavily in every aspect, comics of course specifically, there's no room for a lot of other characters. You're getting more so than oversaturation of Batman. You're getting like 18 comics of the same character at the same time in 1 month practically, and they're like, buy them all. Did you get the issue? And you're like, I can only buy so many things. And even things that maybe he's not even the main character in, they put his name on it. Batman and the Outsiders is supposed to be like Black Lightning's team, and it's like, it's Batman though. Like it's insane how much he's in there. And then they keep doing it, so you have like how many ongoings now? 4, maybe 5. It's Batman Detective Comics, Batman Urban Legends, Legends of the Dark Knight, and then there's how many different miniseries, whether it's animated series. Now there's Batman 89, there's the Garth Ennis Batman Reptilian. I actually suggest you to go buy that. That's fucking amazing. Yeah, that dope. Liam Sharp art is actually like, you don't have to read the words, just look at the art and you're gonna die. It's amazing. Yeah. But this is the problem. They get so much top talent that you almost have trouble saying, well, I don't want to support this, how much they're doing, but you're just at the same time like, well, it's actually pretty good. But there's just so much, and it's crazy how they're able to keep this consistent output of it and still keep coming up with more people to jump on these things. Mm-hmm. And at a certain point, though, you're like, well, where's my Ragman comic?
Yeah.
At least I asked that. Where's my Donna Troy comic? Where's my Tempest comic? Where's all these other characters you can be putting this talent towards? And instead you're just going, well, it doesn't matter the Batman name is on it. That's how we're going to sell it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, 100%. That's why. There's no other reason that I would like diss the character in any sort of way other than it's just like, but it's I guess that's the one everyone wants to do with pure reason, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
it's really not even so much that. It's more just like you said, it's keeping the company alive. But it's at a certain point where it's just like, it's hard to dig through. And how are you supposed to buy all these books? Like, as a Batman fan, I wish I could get all them all because I love Batman. But then you're just like, you're going to miss out on all this other good stuff and give us the good. If they're going to do this with Batman, team them up with more DC characters so that it's not so many Batman solo things. And it's not always just the Bat family and Red Hood and shit. Like, throw in Shade the Changing Man. Like, throw him in fucking, like, what's kind of what
Brave and the Bold. They used to have Brave and the Bold. Like, that was kind of one of the things they used to do. Currently, at least, like
characters.
Yeah, at least 3 out of the 4 ongoings, like, Batman itself has the new original, like, James Tynion's been making a bunch of new original characters, plus you have Harley Quinn, and then Mariko Tamaki's run, you have Huntress playing a pivotal role, more so. So at least you're getting a little bit more in there, and then Urban Legends, that's where we're getting, like, all the Bat family being rotated through.
Everybody wants to make their Batman.
Exactly, every single person. But it's like, at a certain point, you're kind of wondering, like, you'd think we would have ran out of talent to do their
no doubt that
quote-unquote Batman run.
Like, here's my thing that's always been in the back of my mind with comics, and kind of like example of being Batman. It's always kind of like the same story, just retold a different way. Like, there's always a villain who wants to destroy Gotham, or a villain that wants to take over Gotham, and then, kill Batman. And you can only do that so many times before you get burnt out, especially if you're doing it like 4 times a month.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. Yeah.
And
it kind of ruins the character for you at that point. You don't, because then it's just like if you're reading all this current stuff, when are you gonna go back and read like some of the most what are your guys' definitive Batman, like what's your favorite Batman run at that point,
like overall or
like
currently
all time, like when you think of Batman, what's the
animated series?
Grant Morrison.
Yeah, I love you.
Oh, that's I mean, if you're talking like who's like, I mean, honestly, in comics, probably that 2-year Dick Grayson run that's what really got me into comics anyway. That was because that felt so fresh. That was incredibly fresh. You have a happy Batman and a very like basically homicidal Robin, and you're like, wow,
it was like
amazing,
Morrison, right?
Yeah. Grant Morrison,
saga.
You had Grant Morrison,
quintessential Batman.
That's...
Even then, you had Grant Morrison doing Batman and Robin. You had Tony Daniel doing just solo Batman, which honestly I really liked because he was doing the art as well. And then you had Detective Comics, and they didn't oversaturate it. Even with Dick Grayson, they said, let's put Kate Kane's Batwoman in there instead. So now you still have a completely different character there.
With Frank Whiteley doing the artwork. Frank Whiteley is one of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
And so, but you know, that Batman and Robin run in specific, it's like if David Lynch directed a Batman 66 episode or season or something. It's just
so insane. It's so fucking Professor Pig, Jason Todd, there's so much shit going on in there.
And you know, my favorite, and whenever I think of Batman, and this page has gotten me out of rough times, like in Batman R.I.P., when he's just in the coffin coming out of dirt, and he's saying like, I've learned how to meditate, to hold my breath, to slow down my heartbeat. This is hard, but you know, I've done it. And then he's just like, I'm gonna push a coffin with like 600 pounds of wet dirt out of push myself out of it, and I have like torn muscles, I'm dehydrated, all this stuff. And he's like, it's hard but not impossible. And you see him standing over, like escaping the grave. And that's just one of those things, like, you know, everything you do in life, it's hard but not impossible. And dude, my first podcast episode I ever did was me basically saying how Batman is the equivalent to Jesus.
Oh my god.
We'll do that here one day. We'll have that talk.
And we'll probably get into because that was actually the September topic for Cut of Steel too, was just DC Comics now and Batman and everything else. So that's gonna be a lot more in depth too for it.
Nice.
So,
well, guys, that was our 6th. Interesting, you know, and we did a spinner wheel. We had other stuff, but you know, we're gonna be doing this.
We'll save
more
that
often.
for next time.
So we'll save these. We'll kind of shuffle into more names, maybe even mixing creators at the same time. This has been a blast, and I love talking characters with you guys. So thank you for joining us on our road to 100, and I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Hope we don't get lost again.
Later.